calling out Mr. Atheist's hypocrisy. Okay, the title is intentionally a bit link-baity. I like Jimmy. I often disagree, well, at least in part, but he seems like a genuinely good guy that would be a lot of fun to hang out with, and it could happen. I'm also a Coloradan. I've been a subscriber to his channel since the beginning, and I am thrilled to see how successful he has been. But as I am entering into doing a little bit of commentary myself, it is inevitable that he will probably come up fairly regularly because I watch him regularly. And since this right now is a response video of sorts, I'm going to speak as if I am speaking directly to Jimmy, though it is unlikely that he will ever see this. He has made some pretty off-putting, I guess that's the only way I could put it, comments recently about how it's somehow beneath him to engage with smaller channels, as if he didn't come from a smaller channel originally. And I'm sure he did not mean it how it sounded, because he definitely is not an arrogant person. Not at all. But it still comes off really, really badly. And I asked him maybe to take a look at that and see what he thinks. So, speaking directly to Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. Nice to meet you. How are you? I'm fine. Let's go get a drink. Don't mind if I do. Woo! Thanks for asking. So, Jimmy, as I anticipate at least a few of your oregano... Did I say oregano? Yeah, a few of your oregano followers. Well, you did have a thing on cooking recently, so you may have some oregano followers.
It is just a lot of hotness.
But I digress. As I anticipate that at least a few of your regular followers who do not also watch me, I don't think we have a lot of overlap at this point, they probably do not know who I am. So introductions are in order. I am Caryn Ann Harlos. I am the current National Secretary for the Libertarian Party, serving on the LNC, which is the Libertarian National Committee. You know, you've heard of the RNC and the DNC. Same difference, just better party. I'm also a candidate for Colorado State House District 45 and an all-around libertarian activist. And I personally hold to a libertarian anarchist view. Since you are politically minded, you may remember me from 2016. I was on the news for suing the state of Colorado for the right to take a ballot selfie. I won. You're welcome. My day job is a paralegal, and my religious views are Christian, but very, very similar to God is Gray, and I am so grateful to have found her through your channel. She is just an absolute gem, treasure, and sweetheart. So, what's up with this title? What's my malfunction? Frankly, it's the hypocrisy in Jimmy's recent video. I think it's called Let's Literally Never Go Back to Normal. Let me back this up. As far as I can tell, Jimmy supports the current government lockdown as part of responsible handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Again, at least as far as I can tell. I think personally, the way it's been done is horridly mishandled, and that the government has no place infringing the civil liberties of people, and that each person must make responsible choices. You want to know where this whole thing of government being able to take an emergency and violate the civil liberties of people goes? You want to know where that road ends, Jimmy? You remember? Well, you wouldn't remember personally, but let's bring to mind Japanese internment camps. Yeah, That's where that kind of thing leads. You cannot allow the government to ever violate your civil rights. You see, as a libertarian, I hold that each person must make responsible choices based upon their own risk assessments, their life situations, and their own health. People right now are being driven to penury and desperation, including suicide. And I know you care about things like that because they're not permitted via government force to do this, to make their own reasonable assessments for their own life because one size does not fit all. Today, a business owner simply cannot flaunt the government and assert their rights without eventually feeling the iron fist of enforcement. And again, as far as I can tell, Jimmy supports this. He certainly hasn't spoken out against it, at least not that I've seen, and I do try to watch each one of his episodes. The only ones I miss are the really long live streams. That particular format I just don't particularly care for with any host. Yet, in this episode, we see that Jimmy has left his house and gone to his office where he has an office YouTube channel. Yes, I'm jelly of the office YouTube. Did I say channel? YouTube setup. Right now I'm in my basement, but grateful for what I have. I think I need a drink before continuing. You know, I think you always need a drink. I'm not an alcoholic, really. I'm just bored. And I love cognac. And I really only drink about once a week, so I really get into it when I do. And even though I'm in Colorado, I do not partake of the green leafy substance. I don't like it. I know, I'm a waste of a Coloradan, aren't I? Oh, speaking of that, Jimmy, I'm going to try to find the clip to put this in here, and I'm not insinuating anything. I do not know if you partake in a little Mary Jane or not. I don't care. Legalize recreational cocaine as far as I'm concerned. But there is a Colorado weed commercial, and I swear you are in it. Is that you? Tell me, is that you? I saw it and I'm like, wait, wait, what? All right, so back to the hypocrisy. Jimmy realizes that people are really going to give him gas for him leaving his house and going to his office YouTube studio. So he goes on a pretty rambling self-justification that is a prime example of rights for me, but not for thee. So let's take a listen.
Well, hey, it's me, a familiar face in a familiar place. But isn't that kind of irresponsible of me?
Well, Jimmy, no. It doesn't seem really responsible. It seems really hypocritical. And I dare say, Alex, I'll take entitled for 1,000. Fucking bra straps. You know, we put a man on the moon, but we can't create bra straps that don't fall down.
So yes, you may have noticed that I am back in my studio, and that might seem really irresponsible to you, as especially in the state I'm in right now, we're still in a shelter-in-place order with exceptions for people to go to work. And to begin, this is my job.
Yes, Jimmy, it is your job. Your non-essential job, according to the government dictates that you support. You are just one of the thousands upon thousands of people that are prevented from doing their jobs and earning a livelihood. Though, wait a minute. You aren't prevented from earning a livelihood, are you?
I actually realized there was a way that I could work from my studio, which is 1,000,000 times better for me. Seriously, being motivated at home to do work is really, really tough for me.
Shit. Waste of good liquor. Let's rub his belly for good luck. Don't spill any more liquor. Okay. I apologize in advance, but I think I might even go a little bit more over the top here. Oh, man, poor baby. You couldn't be motivated at home? Was that a crisis for you? That was really fucking obnoxious. I don't like myself when I'm that obnoxious.
Plus, the amount of snacking I was doing was kind of undid all that weight loss I did last year.
And the trials and tribulation of having to be around snacking? However did you survive?
So basically, I was assessing my home life versus coming here, and I realized there was a way to come here and have no more, if not less risk than I was having at home.
Oh, you did a rational assessment based upon your unique circumstances? Go figure. And you don't see the inherent nonsensicalness of the arbitrary labeling of essential and non-essential? And don't you think others are in the same situation that you are?
So at home, I have a roommate. He is an essential worker and goes to work a few times a week. On top of that, while I'm more the type to order in groceries and was that way before this, he is more the type to actually go get them, which is some of the essential travel that's also okay. So basically, that is my main source of potential exposure at home. Well, here's the thing. If I'm in my studio, once I pass the front threshold, there is zero exposure once I am in here. So the question becomes, getting from home to there, what possibly exists? Nothing really for the ride coming here. Obviously, an unforeseen accident or something, but not anything you would ever really count on happening.
So you admit, in your own view, be clear, not mine, that you are a potential danger due to your roommate, yet you risk the lives of the police that may have to come to the scene of an unforeseen accident? How do you live with yourself, you potential murderer, you? Of course you don't count on it happening. That's why it's called an accident. No one ever counts on it happening, just like no one ever counts on the Spanish Inquisition.
And there is an entrance that almost nobody else uses.
Almost no one? Your inconvenience is worth risking other people because it's only a few people? And you can't really know that, can you?
Almost all of the other companies that are down here, and there's only a couple, have been working from home. But two, it's not absolutely everyone. However, everyone's gone by 5.
But what about your nasty hands touching all the door handles? And let me be clear, we all have fucking nasty hands. Hands are just nasty germ petri dishes. Are the other companies really working from home, or have the employees been laid off or not able to keep afloat? So oddly, it seems that throughout your explanation, you are only concerned about your own exposure. I think, though, knowing you, that you also think you have some kind of responsibility for the exposure of others. But even considering your own exposure, there may be another person just like you trying to sneak in and get some work done. And you are causing them exposure, not allowing them the same privileges that you are now asserting. I hope my evident sarcasm has come through clearly. Jimmy, I have zero, goose egg, nada, no problem with what you did. But everyone should have that right, not just you. And that is an actual right, unlike the constant advocacy you give for the forced distributive taking of the resources and skills of other people. You ask that people remember what it felt like to be unsure of their future, to give them compassion for other people, and presumably actually to vote to force other people to do what you want, but that's another matter. And I agree that lessons in personal good fortune should result in compassion to others who do not have that good fortune. I wish I could ask you to remember how it felt to have to suffer the minor inconvenience of having to do YouTubes from home. But wait, you couldn't handle that. The snacks, you know? Way to show compassion for those who have no job at all. Take the beam out of your own eye, good sir. All right, am I off base? As my husband, it wouldn't be the first time or the last time, but let me know your thoughts. And now let's move on to some things I really agree with Jimmy on.
Also on things I don't want to go back to normal, let's never shake hands ever again.
Okay. That was weird. Okay. I agree on the shaking of hands. It is gross as fuck. It is gross as fuck and needs to die in a fire. But I was just watching a really interesting, it was an FBI agent talking about tells and how to tell by the body language of people if they're lying or not. And he talked about shaking of hands and how it's a critical part of many cultures in establishing, I forgot the way he put it, but it's in establishing interpersonal relationships. So perhaps you and I are just both antisocial hermits. I don't know. You, like me, have been training for this our whole lives. I'm a pro. I'm an Olympian isolationist, social distancer. But I also agree with you that we are learning much needed lessons in hygiene that should be permanent. And oh my God, my heart aches for anyone who has like severe germophobia during this time. Talk about a nervous breakdown. Oh my God, it's like the worst fear ever. It would be like me surrounded by pool drains. Definitely need a drink after that. Mountain Dew Chaser. And dude, if we met, I would give you a hug. As long as you don't give me that creepy uncle hug that you did in your video. No Biden.
There are some people I really like to hug. Hugs.
Okay, don't Biden me, bro.
Oh, and lastly, the fact that the criminal justice system right now is assessing whether or not people really need to be in jail, like actually doing it seriously, is kind of offensive. If they didn't really need to be there during a pandemic, they probably didn't really need to be there at all. Total and complete criminal justice reform is something that hopefully for those of you that it wasn't obvious to in the past, now it clearly is. It is incredible the coldness it takes to condemn a person to a higher risk of dying of a respiratory disease because they got caught with a little bit of weed a few too many times.
Abso-fucking-lutely. The prison industrial complex for victimless crimes also needs to die brutally in a fire, screaming and yelling and writhing. Sorry. I have feelings about this. I have a lot of feels. But that's not the only thing that this situation has revealed is not necessary. There is a whole heaping shit casserole of government hurdles and red tape that have proven to be nothing more than artificial barriers and bumpkis. Jimmy, are you aware of the abysmal ballot censorship that exists in this country that is designed specifically and corruptly to keep the asses and pachyderms in power? They aren't ultimately enemies. They're not even frenemies. They are dysfunctional, psychopathic, incestuous kissing cousins. Gross. God, I think I will go for that bleach. Got to get that image out of my head. Look into it. I beg you. The Libertarian Party is the third largest political party in this country with a 50-year history of running presidential candidates every single cycle. And we are also the first party to boast the first openly gay man as a presidential candidate and the first woman to get an electoral college vote. No, that wasn't Hillary. Thank you very much. It was Tony Nathan in 1974. And Tony was also the first Jewish person to get an electoral college vote. And it still costs us upward of $250,000 every presidential cycle and countless hours of volunteer efforts of fighting merely to get our candidates on the ballot when the Democrats and Republicans, two wings of the same foul bird that shits all over us, get it as a matter of right because they voted themselves into that privilege. They have decided that you and me can only vote between Coke and Pepsi, and fuck you if you prefer something different. Corrupt as absolute. I gotta stop cussing. Man, I got a burr under my saddle or a cactus up my, well, okay. Let's remember the fundamentalist Christian girl and that I'm not anymore, but how I would never curse. And don't even get me going on the Commission on Presidential Debates. That name, that sounds like some official agency, doesn't it? Did you know that it's a private entity set up by the two old parties specifically to only include them? That it's a protection racket for their power? That ever since Ross Perot made it on the debate stage, they have assiduously created barriers to keep anyone else from ever doing that again and threatening them? Oh, they will say you can get on the stage. They will say all you have to do is get 15% in the polls. But then they use polls in which other candidates are not even mentioned. Nice work if you could get it. It's a joke. We need ballot and voting method reform badly, as if our lives depend upon it, because they do. Our current system is a cancer. Oh no. I got a hole in the bottom of my glass. Congratulations on the subscriber count. I can't even imagine me ever being that successful. So yes, I'm jelly, but besides being jelly, I'm genuinely excited for you. That must just be like an incredible validation. Good on you. So how about hitting my button? All right, that sounded a bit creepy. Not Joe Biden creepy, but creepy enough. Okay, that's it for this segment. I normally just do Libertarian Party history stuff, so my regular viewers, or even some that might wander over here because of the title of this particular episode, what do you think? Should I continue? Well, I'm going to do what I want anyway. I'm a libertarian, but I am genuinely interested in your thoughts. So, that's a wrap. Have an awesome day. Mi guapas de libertad. Okay, here's a little aside. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that maybe I've got some virgin listeners here that I can ravish. I have a couple other channels. If you're into kind of wacky and offbeat beauty and lifestyle type things, pretty much anything that's not politics, check out my other channel. It's small, but again, I just started it and I described what it was. It's basically my vlogging channel, and it's called, what is it called? Oh shit, I forgot. Man, getting old sucks. Oh, it's actually Caryn Ann, because my name is actually Caryn Ann. This is me. This is me introducing myself to people. Hi, I'm Caryn Ann. And people, hey Caryn. And I'm like,
walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Or you can check out another channel. It's a collaboration that I do with another Coloradan, Mike Seebeck, where we go through our daily devotionals in Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised. And it's called The Cult of RONR, or The Cult of Runner, or call the question bitches, or whatever you would like to call it, because, hold on. RONR is life. Ah! All right. Thank you. Laters. Later, alligator.
You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business.